Welcome to How's Stuff on my Car Wash channel. Today's video is about troubleshooting the much hated evap leak, or at least annoying. The reason why I say that it's annoying or hated is because every time there is a leak or any other issue with the evap system, the check engine light comes on. And at that point it's something that has to be dealt with, because if you leave the light on, when something else goes wrong, you won't know because the light's been on forever. Now, auto enthusiasts know that the evap system does not contribute to the performance of the vehicle whatsoever, because its function is to evacuate the vapors from the tank and run them through the engine so they don't pollute. So at that point it becomes something that, if you love saving the planet, you know, that's a system that was the best invention ever since sliced bread. If you're an auto enthusiast that likes doing upgrades and adding performance items to your vehicle, the evap system is just something else that is going to go wrong and you're going to have to troubleshoot. So that's why I say that it's annoying and usually hated. But in the simple steps, I'm going to show you how to troubleshoot it, and hopefully after this video you won't hate it as much. You know, it's still going to be annoying trying to find this darn leak. The system itself is simple and it's not really hard to diagnose. What I'm going to be doing to diagnose the small evap leak on this 2000 Dodge Durango is I'm going to use a handheld scanner and a vacuum gauge. So that's what the issue with this one is, small evap leak. So let's get the troubleshooting started. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to access the codes with the handheld scanner. Turn the key on, connect it to the OBD2 port. So enter the vehicle info, obviously. Okay, so here's my code. I have a P0456 evaporative emission system leak detected. Very small leak is what the description is. Okay, so the same code appears twice, and it's a very small leak. Even though it's a very small leak, still enough to turn the check engine light on and drive you insane. I'm gonna see what the freeze frame was when the code was set. The RPM was at 828, so looks like it was at idle. Coolant temperature was 54 degrees, so this vehicle just was started when the code's set by the looks of it. So this is a self-test that the computer made right after the vehicle was started, and it noticed that there was a small leak. So we're going to go from there and start troubleshooting with our vacuum gauge. So I'm down with this one for right now. Okay, so this is a 2000 Dodge Durango with a 4.7 liter. And the very first item to troubleshoot is the canister purge valve, which is located right here. The function of this valve is to allow vacuum to be drawn. That way the vapors that have been accumulated in that canister can be drawn into the intake manifold through this vacuum hose right here and be burned in the combustion chamber instead of just going into the atmosphere and polluting the air. Remember, the vacuum source is right here, and this vehicle obviously has a test port right here. All other vehicles are going to have one. It has a green cap. The test port is attached to the hose that goes to the canister, so both of these run together. Right here you can see them together, and they are right there attached to the canister purge valve. Because this is the first item in order of sequence, that's the very first item I'm going to test. And to do so, all I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and unplug the vacuum source, and I'm going to apply vacuum to this vacuum hose with a vacuum pump. So I got the vacuum hose connected. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the hose that goes to the canister to isolate the purge valve by itself. That's one of the things I'm going to do. So all I'm going to do is put my finger over it and apply vacuum to see if there's a leak. So I'm not going to put much vacuum, 20 is enough. And wow, it is definitely leaking. I'm going to bring the camera closer so you can see it. I'm going to let it go. Okay, so here's the vacuum gauge. I'm going to put my finger over this and apply vacuum. And as you can tell, it's leaking. So at this point, it looks like I found my leak. But I'm going to go ahead and remove the purge valve and test it directly, just to be absolutely sure. Chrysler connectors, they have this safety pin. You gotta push it to towards the outside. Push the red clip out like that, and then disconnect it. So make sure you do it like that if you're working on a Chrysler, otherwise you're gonna break it. Slides out. And the next step is to disconnect the hoses. It could be a little bit stuck, so gently pull it out. Alright, so it's out. So I'm going to test it directly. Now, if you look at your hoses that attach to your canister, you'll find out that one of them, that on this vehicle, the top one, is your vacuum source right here. So, and then the lower one obviously goes to the canister, and it's even labeled right here on the valve. So to isolate the valve, all I'm going to do is apply a vacuum here, plug this in, and because the valve is leaking, there's going to be a vacuum leak. A new valve shouldn't have any leaks. So let's go ahead and test it that way. Alright, so connect the vacuum source, make sure it's tight. I'm going to plug the port that goes to the canister. I'm going to apply the vacuum with the gauge. So let's take a look. And there it is. It's dropping. So the valve is leaking. After years of service and opening and closing, it has developed a leak. It no longer seals correctly. So when the computer did the self-test, when it started, and when it triggered the freeze frame, and it tested this purge valve, then it noticed that there was a leak. There's another thing to consider with the canister purge valves. This valve, when it's not energized, it should be closed. So right now, another test to do is leaving this unplugged. When you apply vacuum to the vacuum port, it should hold vacuum. And this valve is pretty bad, okay? I'm still curious how it only triggered a small leak, because it just will not hold vacuum. The way it should work is, like I said, when it's not energized, the valve is closed, so you should be able to apply vacuum, and you should be able to hold vacuum. And when the valve is energized, then it allows the vacuum to be drawn and draw the vapors from the canister. Right now the valve is so bad that it's leaking both ways. It's leaking, even as you saw earlier, if I plug the port, it's leaking from in here somewhere. And it's also leaking when you apply vacuum, because it just won't hold vacuum. I'm going to go ahead and get another valve from another vehicle that is good, and I'm going to show you the difference. That way you can see what I'm talking about, how it should hold vacuum. So I'm going to go get one. Alright, so I have this valve. It's a good valve from a 98 Dodge Durango. Slightly different. The connector is different, so I couldn't really use it on this vehicle, but this is just for illustration purposes, okay? So this is my old one, the one that's leaking. I'm gonna go ahead and attach. This one is labeled vacuum instead of canister, so very simple. just put the vacuum hose towards the vacuum signal and apply about, I don't know, no more than 20. That would be more than enough. And there it is. This is a good valve. It holds vacuum. So that's just to show how it should work. And I'm gonna release it. There. So obviously this is not triggering any evap leaks, you know, because it's a good valve. So I'm just gonna go ahead and install a new valve on this vehicle, and that should cure my problem. So for this vehicle, I got lucky and I found the leak right away, right? Being the canister purge valve. Now, in the event that this wasn't the problem, okay, and I needed to keep troubleshooting, there are other components. So it's very likely that we're gonna have a vehicle in the future that has a leak in any of the other components, and then we'll troubleshoot it then. I'm not gonna make this video much longer. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna replace this valve, and after the valve is replaced, I'm gonna clear the code, take it for the drive, and there shouldn't be any new trouble codes after that. So make sure you subscribe to our channel. That way you'll know whenever we have a new video that involves a different evap leak troubleshooting process. Or maybe you'll want to know what other videos we film as we go, because we upload videos regularly. Also a reminder, make sure you visit our online store. We have a great selection of accessories for cars, trucks, and SUVs. Thanks again for watching, and see you next time.